Okay, I hope I hit the right button the first time. Gotta check this real quick. Yes, it's been that kind of day. Hi, happy St. Patrick's Day here in beautiful northwest Pennsylvania. It's in the mid 70s. I'm wearing a sweater only because I got so sweated up, and when I stopped, I got cold. I am here to share with you a failure or something that didn't work well for me, and I want to show it to you so that if you were considering it, you could say, I'm going to do it differently because it didn't work right that time, or you save yourself the time and expense and you do something altogether different. Okay, looking around, I've done 2 of the 3 rows. I had put down weed barrier with the idea that it would suppress weeds. What I failed to deal with was, first of all, I was using horse manure on top of it. Bad idea. Fresh horse manure, full of nutrition, full of seed. I threw a lot of stone on top of it. That was a good idea. At least it kept the wind from blowing it away and the staples and all that stuff. But it really just seemed to attract more problems. The major problem with this stuff is I'm using drip irrigation, and I was timing, because they're metered emitters, I was timing it, and enough water was not penetrating the cloth. It just ran off and went away from the roots, and I can probably claim some tree loss to it. The real issue is the trees down here that had weed barrier on them fared poorly compared to their relatives up the hill. They had grass growing around the roots. So I have to just go back to something traditional. So I spent a good deal of time today so far. It takes me about an hour and 15 minutes on my hands and knees, crawling to pull the staples and lift the barrier, because the barrier now has the weight and consistency of sod. If you'll notice, roots penetrated through the fabric and made it significantly more difficult to remove. It's really bright out here, so I hope you can see what I'm aiming the camera at. I apologize if I can't. You can see the large fissures, the cracks in the ground. That was underneath the cloth. We had a very dry year. Moisture just wasn't penetrating. You can see where, especially with this tree, you can see where the auger hole was for where I planted the tree. I have a lot more of this fabric. It might work well on a larger, a standard tree, a semi-dwarf tree, larger trees, it might work well. The moisture requirements of a fully dwarfing tree and that fabric did not mix well in my world. I think that's really an honest way of putting it. So there's that. There was one benefit to this. If you want to do this for want of something better to do, if you were to crawl on your hands and knees up and down the rows of your orchard, you might notice something that would have normally skipped your attention. So I'm going to go down here. Getting a real deja vu right now. I'm going to go to macro mode. Oh, hey, looky. That's wrong. Now, that was behind the Vulgard. As you can see, it is facing due south. I can only imagine that might have been a freeze damage. I don't know. I've never seen this sort of thing before. Maybe someone will comment on it later. But it's not good for the tree. Now, it's still soft. So that this cambrium apparently is still alive, but I got nothing in here. And I certainly don't want bugs finding a home in there. Enter tree coat. Hope you can see that. It's all I've got, and I can only imagine that it's certainly better than nothing. I'm sorry, get the camera back. It's certainly better than nothing. So I am going to fill that hole with tree coat to keep critters from thinking that is someplace hospitable to be. Now, we'll just back up a little bit here. You can still see some of my tie downs were working. They did pull down like I had hoped they would. On the upside, looking closely, if you can see them, I have got fruit spurs. Oh man, that makes me so very happy. So hopefully I'll be seeing something from these trees this year. Right in front of me, I have Metal Deor. Golly, I can't talk today. Nice trees, nice fruit. Um, I've been very hesitant on my pruning this year because the trees are not very mature. So if you're thinking, oh my lord, where was he doing this winter? Well, he was thinking about what he's going to do later. But I actually did snip on these trees a bit. Um, I want to give them a chance. Each year, I don't think I've ever done a close shot of one of the emitters. I haven't lost any emitters to freeze damage. I'm really very pleased. These are pretty robust. They blow the lines out with air. I had a valve freeze crack. They're cheap, so I got a bucket of spare parts. First time I pressurized the line later this summer, I'll see problems. I'll pop replacement parts in, and I'm good to go. So I gotta say I have no regrets with the drip line. I can't imagine doing this any other way. Um, would I plant fully dwarfing rootstock again? Absolutely. Yeah, I would. I would have planted them on 3-foot centers. Um, and that would be the first planting. I am going to be doing more planting in that area. I'll be going for a semi-dwarf tree, something larger. I can't afford another fence for this density, but I can try and get those trees big enough that the deer will not totally ravage them. Deer are the issue here. Anyway, I ramble. I'm a little tired. This is neighbor Al coming to you from Pennsylvania. I'm going to be doing my tree coat thing right now just to heal this little guy up. I had a little bit of gnawing on the trees I talked to you about before where I didn't have Volgard. I got to wait till the cash flow shifts a little bit, and then I will be buying more Volgard to put onto the trees. End of the month, we're going to have the Great Lakes Cider and Perry Association cider competition. This is very cool. Look up greatlakescider.com. I think it's a .com. Great Lakes Cider. That's all I need to check. It's a very cool thing. I'm already looking forward to Cider Day in Massachusetts. Kind of funny here. It is like pre-spring, and I'm looking forward to Cider Day. So you guys do such a good job. I'm looking forward to the escape. And shout out to all the friends who look me up on Facebook every now and then. You know who you are. I miss y'all terribly. Take care. Talk at you later. Bye-bye.